Hey there, how's it going? Welcome to Dominions 5. My name is Mew. This time around I'm going to be playing a multiplayer game set in the early age, and I'm going to be playing as Machaka. This video will serve as the intro video for this series, and in this video I will just talk very briefly about Machaka, as well as the god that I've made, scales, and the bless that I've chosen, and then any of the game settings, map settings, mod settings, all those other details. And then the next video going up in this series will be turn 1 to 3. So if you just want to see gameplay, wait for that video. If you do enjoy this series or any of the other series on the channel, please consider liking the video and subscribing and, you know, all that YouTube stuff. And thanks as always to my Patreon supporters for keeping me and the channel going. I really appreciate you guys. Okay then, Machaka. So, EA Machaka is a rarity on this channel because it's a nation I've actually already played before. I played Machaka back in Dominions 4. Now, I would say that means I have some experience with the nation, but not really. First of all, it was a long time ago. Second of all, I think I was out on like turn 20 or something. That game's pretty funny in retrospect because the person that I got destroyed by very early on, turns out later on we discovered was a notorious cheater in our community. I think the only cheater we've ever had to like exile from our community, who used to just, you know, check everybody else's turns and see exactly what they were doing. I moved to Felden because I assumed there'd be nothing there, but she actually moved a stack of 30 units there, so my movement was, I guess, obvious there, and she just correctly sort of anticipated it. I don't know. Wasn't a great sort of experience playing Machaka in that game. Hopefully this one's slightly better. Yeah. Although, come to think of it, I'm sure maybe this nation received a bunch of changes between Dominions 4 and Dominions 5 anyway. I mean, who knows? I have no idea. Anyway, let's talk about the god that I made. So, Machaka is primarily what I would describe as a death nation. Death and Earth, with some fire and nature as secondary. They have big fire and big nature mages as cap onlys, but most of the mages you'll be fielding will be death and earth mages. They have, I think, what is probably one of the best mages in the game, the Buddha. This is a mage that comes with, I think, a good chance of having high death and high earth, which is a really cool combo to have. You can make yourself very strong, you can give yourself reinvigoration, and then you can just pump out skeletons. I'm pretty sure those mages can also just shapeshift into, like, stealthy hyenas, I think? So they can do some solo raiding on their own like that. Kind of like Femoria has cloud trapezing mages that can do Horde of Skeletons, but I feel like stealthing mages that can, you know, give themselves Iron Skin, reinvigoration, and then Horde of Skeletons is probably also very, very good. Yeah, great mages on the nation. The troops, not quite as good, I would say. Most of Machaka's troops seem to be just kind of unarmored or very lightly armored humans. Pretty low morale. Just pretty weak, generic human units across the board, really. They do have some big cap sacreds, and some like spider riders, and some animals as well. But all in all, not exactly a powerhouse when it comes to military units, I would say. They do have very, very massable archers though. And we have a native F3 mage we can recruit, so good nation for flaming arrows as well, I would assume. I guess we'll find out though. Anyway, this is the god I went with. Our famous beef burger, the Colossal Fetish. Since our troops are not amazing, I feel like you probably want an awake expanding god. I picked the Colossal Fetish for two reasons. One, because it's just a very funny looking pretender Jesse. I love this guy. Its description, the idea that it mostly does what its worshippers believe it would do. It punishes harshly and rewards sparingly, is like a very kind of old meme in our community at this point. What a great description. Yeah, had to go with this guy. One day I'll take the Colossal Head Pretender, which is, like, I think, by far the funniest pretender, but, you know, Colossal Fetish is a good secondary. The head, unfortunately, cannot expand, so here we are. The Colossal Fetish can expand into almost anything in my test games. He's just extremely durable. He's also an innate spellcaster as well, so while he's walking around clubbing people with his 7 attack skill, 28 damage club, he'll also just randomly cast, you know, Tangle Vines or Flying Shards or whatever. He's very, very good at expanding. Even has a Fear Aura. Blunt resistance, pierce resistance, yeah. Very, very durable. He starts with a little bit of earth magic and nature magic as well, so a great candidate for a larger bless. And larger bless is pretty nice for us, I think. Our sacreds are already pretty big, so make them bigger, you know? That's obviously, you know, makes sense to me. Yeah, so pick the fetish mostly just to have an expander. Comes with earth and nature. Decided to slap larger bless, thought that would be good for our sacred troops. I then just wanted to pump earth magic to make his protection as high as possible. I'm not sure if this is stupid or not. But yeah, it just makes him... It's so easy to just expand with this guy. When I mean, once he casts like bark skin on himself, and then later, you know, you get stone skin, iron skin. He's just walking around with like 31 protection and like blunt and pierce resist. He just walks over every independent province. He's really cool. He's really cool. I imagine if we like bump into neighbors or something early, he can probably just walk into most sort of early starting armies as well. Incredible pretender. Since I wanted to pump earth really high, Iron Shock Resist is probably one of the best blesses in the game in terms of just how efficient it is. 2 10-point resistances for 5 magic points. So I decided to slap that in there as well. Why not? I also feel like you can kind of dump your scales quite a bit on Machaka because, yeah, their units aren't amazing and they're also quite cheap to recruit in general. There's nothing that we can recruit that requires like a huge amount of rec points or resources or gold, really. Even our mages are quite reasonable. The Buddhas that we're probably going to want to recruit as many of as possible are only about 200 gold, but they're 4 rec points though. So that works out to, you know, you're only paying like 100 gold a turn for each of those mages. The only thing that might require a bit of additional income or rec points or whatever to recruit are our sacreds, but since they're the only thing that's really going to require many resources or rec points, it's not much of a drain, so I just dumped most of our income scales. And then took some additional magic on this guy. It would be really sick if we could do the, what's it called? Soul Drain? I've never used that spell, but he'd be a great candidate to just walk around with Soul Drain up. So he's got Astral and Death now. Had to pay for those. But that also gives us some more quite nice bless effects as well. We can get Spirit Sight, which might be really good. Because we're going to be spamming so many skeletons. We could put up Darkness in combat, and then our Sacreds would still be able to fight. So that's pretty cool. After that, I didn't really know. I mean, mostly these magic paths are for the magic on the god, you know what I mean? So I wasn't really sure what blesses to take, but I just took magic resistance and withering weapons in the... I mean, they're pretty generic, and they're always pretty useful. I'm not sure that withering weapons has much of an impact when you slap that on your Sacreds, to be honest. Usually... I mean, if you're hitting something with your sacreds, it's probably going to die, right? I'm not sure decay really does much, but I mean, it's a, you know, it's a 4-point death bless, whatever. We'll stick withering weapons in. Magic resist is always quite nice. A bit of poison resistance with the leftover nature, why not? This is a great little bless for our sacreds, and mostly just an amazing spellcasting expander. So I think all in all, that's pretty good. His just walking around will help us get through the early game. And then if we make it to the late game, he can do all kinds of cool magic. He might also do some pretty good Earthquakes as well. I have never been impressed by Earthquake, but I don't know, does it scale? Maybe with Earth 9 it'll be pretty good. Who knows? I mean, there's a lot of good Earth attack spells, right? Does Moors of the Earth scale? It would be amazing if it does. The level 9 mage casting it. 10 with Earth Power. 11 with Boots. Damn, yeah, that's right. Another thing that's great about this chassis. There's full slots. What a sick pretender. So yeah, that's the God and the Bless. I'm really hoping we get to make an impact with this guy. As I said, we dump most of the income scales. We don't really need rec points or resources or income that much. We'll try and invade someone quickly and take more territory to keep our income going, keep us afloat. But in general, yeah, all the income scales are dumped. We got Heat 3 because we like a bit of heat. Took Drain 2 as well. I'm hoping we catch up on research later. I always say that. This game is running the JBBM balance mod, so death is not as bad. Drain 2 is only -1 research, so it's not as bad either. The only positive skill we have is Luck 1. I just thought, well, we got some Thelma, why not? We'll stick a little bit of luck in there. Pretty reasonable Dominion score as well, Dominion 5. Yeah, but there's the God, there's the Bless, and there's the Scales. Hopefully things go okay. This game is running 2 mods. It's running the JBBM balance mod, makes a large number of tweaks and changes to the game in the interest of multiplayer balance. It doesn't make any changes to Machaka, I don't think. Oh no, it does. It makes one change to lions. They get a pounce attack. So, you know, that might be relevant. I think we also get some national spells as well. There's like a web spell and an elephant summon spell, maybe? I haven't really looked too closely, but there's nothing like crazy different. The units are all the same, I'm pretty sure. The game is also running snow.dm, which is a mod that just gives every unit in the game snow movement, which is why this gentleman here has snow move, you may have noticed. Pretty sure that's not typical. And the game will be played on a named map from our community called Twee. I think Twee was generated using the in-game map generator, I'm not sure. But it's pretty infamous. The gimmick with Twee is that it's slightly too small for the number of players in it. It has like cramped start locations or something. I don't think I've ever actually played a game on Twee, but it's sort of notorious in our community for being cramped. So we can expect to bump into neighbors very quickly. I think it also has a bunch of start locations that are just very bad. So, you know, it's a great map, very popular. People love playing on that map, mostly because it just annoys everybody. But yeah, I'm pretty sure it is just a map that's generated using the in-game map generator, though. It might be... In fact, it probably is generated in the in-game map generator from Dominions 4. I'm not sure if that's any different or not, but there we go. So the next video going up in the series will be Turn 1 to 3. I will try to do 2 videos a week, unless something goes terribly wrong. Again, if you do enjoy the series, please let me know, or, you know, subscribe to the channel if you're not already. And thanks again to my Patreon supporters. Not sure that there's anything else left to say, so thanks as always for watching, hope you enjoy it, and hopefully I'll see you in the next video.